Yo everyone, it's Brendan here. So over the years, I've done a lot of personal finance hacking. I troll through websites, blogs, articles, books, and basically that's to find out how other people manage their money. So there is a common systematic approach that these people adopt as their financial building blocks. I've taken these in and put them into practice consistently, and I found them to be highly effective. Today I'm going to be sharing 5 financial habits that have changed my life and will definitely change yours for the better. I'll also be sharing with you some painful mistakes I made along the way so that hopefully you won't go down the same path I did. But before we get into the video, if you could hit that like button below, I'll be donating a cent for every 2 likes to 1 tree planted. I'll put a link to the website in the description. It'll also help this channel out tremendously. Appreciate the thumbs up and support. Now let's jump straight into the video. The first and most foundational habit is tracking your money. Just like how a business requires an accountant to keep track of revenue, profits, losses, etc., you need to be the accountant of your own life. I'm confident enough to say that there isn't a single person out there who's had financial success that does not track their money. This will help you to see with your own eyes how much money you're making, how much you're spending, and basically where your money is going. There might be some things you spend on that you don't even realize that quickly adds up into a substantial amount. For example, there was a time I was spending over $200 a month just on taking cabs as a student. After realizing that sobering truth, I became more disciplined with my time and took more public transport, leaving cabs as the last resort. There are many free apps out there that you can download, such as You Need a Budget, Seedly, Spendy, etc. Personally, I use Tosho as it's simple, lightweight, and easy to use. At the end of every day, it sends me a reminder to log what I've spent on for that day. Over time, I check to see if I'm within my monthly budget or if there's anything in particular that I need to watch out for. At the end of the month, I review my expenditure and see which areas I've done well in and which categories I can cut down on. In addition to this, I've also created some budget spreadsheets over the years. There's a singles edition and a couples edition. I'll put the links down in the description. Feel free to make a copy, edit accordingly, and use these budget sheets as a supplement to the expense tracking apps. Do let me know in the comments if you found it helpful or if you find any bugs. If you forget everything in this video, just remember this first point, as I guarantee you that an activity as simple and fundamental as this will have the biggest impact on the rest of your life. The second habit is only buy the essentials. This is about getting into the mindset of carefully considering everything you want. There is a line that separates needs from wants, and this will differ from person to person. Challenge yourself to reduce expenditure on things that don't make you significantly happier. In this, you're slowly moving items under the needs section across the line into the wants section. Also consider what affordability means to you. It is more than simply saying that if a cup of bubble tea costs $3 and I have 5, it means that I can afford it. That's a very myopic approach to affordability, which is a trap I personally fall into all the time. Do you have long-term financial goals, and are you putting those in jeopardy if you were to purchase something? Have you prioritized investing and savings, or are you being inconsistent with your income allocation?
Wow, buy bubble tea also got to think so far.
Exactly and not exactly. Yes, because these small things can add up and potentially spiral out of control. No, because if you carefully stick to a budget that is in line with your goals, then go ahead, make that purchase without thinking too much. Things that I practice personally are to cancel monthly subscriptions that I'm clearly not using. I also apply a 1-week rule for purchases, which means that if I want to buy an item online, I keep it in my shopping cart for a week. If at the end of that week I still want it and it's within my budget, then I'll give myself the green light. So that's related to whether I should spend or not. On the flip side, when you decide to spend, make use of discount codes, coupons, and cashback programs to soften the blow. I'm super aggressive in searching for promo codes, as it only takes a few minutes for me to potentially save an extra 10 to 20%. I'm also an avid user of Shopback, which is an app that provides cashback for purchases made either online or offline at selected merchants. Because I'm already going to make a purchase, why not get more benefits for the total price of free? But a note of caution, do not use this as an excuse to spend more. Don't go out of your way to buy something you otherwise wouldn't have purchased if it was not for the promotion or cashback. Basically, don't use a good deal as an excuse to make impulse buys. Feel free to check it out and use my promo code below to get a free $5 sign-up bonus as soon as you've met the criteria. If I could sum this up, it would be frugal. Consider carefully what are your essentials and be smart about how you spend your money. The third habit is make your money invisible. This will actually help with the previous habit because what we're doing here is we're really setting a budget and sticking to it by removing all temptation to spend more than you should. As soon as payday arrives, set up an automatic transfer to a joint bank account that you have to remain accountable for. This allows you to save automatically, and you should do this also for your investments as well. For example, if I draw a $3,000 salary, I automatically transfer 20%, which is $600, for savings, the same 20% for investments, and have the remaining amount for expenditure and giving. The moment this amount is out of sight and out of mind, you reward yourself by actually seeing these tangible savings and investments. You'll also naturally adjust to live off less. Honestly, once you see this working for you, you won't ever want to break this habit. Habit number 4 is don't buy things to show off. When I was my younger, insecure self, I thought that by openly displaying my wealth, I could be respected and gain acceptance from people around me. The trade-off was that I had to actually spend money on expensive goods for people to see. As I grew older, I realized that nobody really cares. At most, you're just gonna get a nice compliment from someone who noticed, and everyone is gonna forget about it the next day. Human life in itself is sacred and precious. That is the innate value you were born with that no item or possession can change. If you currently buy things to impress others, I understand how you feel, but don't continue making the same mistakes that I did. Know that what you have or don't doesn't define who you are. Don't reduce your self-worth to the mere things that you own. In your money decisions, make sure that it is done genuinely for the benefit of you, your family, and others instead of being born out of insecurities or selfish ambition. And lastly, habit number 5 is take calculated risks. And you guessed it, this is related to investments. I understand that everyone will have different risk appetites. If you're super conservative or risk averse, don't hurt your long-term financial goals by not investing at all. If you love risk and you would love to jump out of a plane without a parachute, don't put your money into something that you don't fully understand and lose it all. For example, don't hide all your money in a Milo tin under your bed because that's not even foolproof, and you're missing out on potential long-term gains. On the other hand, don't FOMO and pump all your money into something you have absolutely no idea about and have significant losses. The end goal here is to really find that sweet spot, which is calculated risk. So how do we do that? First off, invest. That fulfills the part about taking risk. For the calculated portion, do your due diligence in finding out what you're putting your money into. For example, this is a chart from a robo-advisor called StashAway that shows different investment portfolios of varying risks and their respective returns in 2020. To break this chart down further, the topmost portfolio has the highest risk, whereas the bottommost has the lowest risk. In the highest risk portfolio, you have basically a 1% chance of losing more than 36% of your money, but you could have earned 21.9% returns in 2020. For the least risky portfolio, there is a 1% chance you would lose more than 6.5% of your money, but you could have earned 6.8% returns in the same year. You can generally find out what losses you're able to stomach with respect to the potential gains. I'll link an article in the description where you can find out more about the risk to reward ratio. So take calculated risks so that number 1, you don't miss out on life's greatest opportunities, and number 2, minimize the potential risk in these opportunities. And with that said, thank you once again for sticking to the end of this video. Do hit that like button if you found this helpful. As mentioned, I'll be donating a cent for every 2 likes to 1 tree planted. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell for more good content. With that said, thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.